Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Lilu Nishmas Imi Merosirus Bas Mordechai. Boisai, I'm very, very excited. We have a very, very, very special guest. Not Stam. It's one of a kind. Shalom Aleichem, what's your name? Rabbi Yehuda Bakst. Rabbi Yehuda Bakst is the very, very first guest that we ever had. How long ago? Maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
2018, December 2018.
December 2018, shows up Rabbi Yehuda, and he says, I watch you share remotely. It was a shock for us. We didn't know. Like, it's true. Like, people actually, it's real. We saw like numbers on YouTube going up, whatever, but we didn't know that people. Rabbi Yehuda was the very, very first one who came to the old Beis Medrash that we learned in Chaniche. I remember exactly, he was sitting on the right side, I think, like over there, like where Rabbi Schoenberg was sitting. It was a big thing. Unbelievable. So, hold on a second. You still do the shir? Are you on and off? Or
I walk to the train, and whenever I walk to the train or I walk to shul, I listen all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
And I mentioned you, like, where was it? Like, at the Big Siyum? At the...
I don't even know. My son found it. He sent it to me. I just sent it to Tomer.
Do you have it over there, Gary? You want to put it on? I don't know if you can put it on. It's a beautiful thing. Mamish, wow. You for sure are invited on the cruise. While he gets it on, tell me when you have it. You want to show it now? Show it right now. Why not? Or you need a few more minutes because here. What is this? Where is this, Rabbi? I don't even recognize this. December 23rd, 2018, a guy arrived in the shir. He says, hi, my name is Yehuda Bakst. I'm from New York. I watch your shir on YouTube. I'm like, what? And then it hit me that when you're online, there are people. They're actually watching, and they want to be part of it. He was the first guest that we ever had in 2018 that came. You weren't? No? You remember that guy? They remember. Tremendous akar satoyev to Noam. For being the first one. The Nachshoin was the first one at the 8-minute daf. All right, I think that, no, it's not about Noam, it's about Review the Bags. Unbelievable. So I haven't seen you in 4 or 5 years. Unbelievable, since 2018, beautiful. Thank you for coming. Just so you should know, we have an amazing guest here from New York. He said a whole story, Avi's going to post it soon. Rabbi Yehuda Bags, sorry. He found us on YouTube somehow. He was looking for something on Tzitzis, found us, and he decided since he's visiting Eretz Yisrael, he's in Yerushalayim, he's going to travel there to Bet Shemesh and check us out. So we have to have a lot of cover. Now we know the people that are watching us behind the scenes. Now there's a face to the person. Rabbi Isai, here's a picture of a few famous people, more than a few. Peretz Chaim, Akiva Ziegler. Peretz Chaim is all the way on the left. Akiva Ziegler is right next to him. Harry Shalom from Los Angeles. Yisrael Goldstein, the guy with the 8-minute daf. Avi Sherman next to him. And Yiddi Schwartz, otherwise known as Shimmy Braun, all the way to the right. What is he? Oh, he's holding the Bible. I didn't notice that. Thank you. Cool. From Anonymous. This is a very beautiful email. Rebelli, because of you, I just read a letter and cried. Before I go on, let me just say that I'm not sending this email to be read at the shir, but just to express akar satoyev to you. If you think it would give others chizuk, you can read it, but please don't use my name. For years, I've tried learning with chavrusis or going to shir, but things have always come up. I could never hold a steady seder. Other times, I would try listening to recorded shir late at night when there are no other distractions, but listening to any Maggid shir at that time of night, great as they may be, indeed there are many wonderful Maggid shir out there, would always just put me to sleep. And then Baruch Hashem, I found the answer since Masechtas ושושנה. I've been listening to your live share at 12:15 New York time, and it has. And then what? Oh, cliche alert! Literally changed my life. In fact, the only time I fall off is when you're in America and you shiurim at a regular time. I'm probably the only American MDY Talmud who prefers when you're in Eretz Yisrael. So I feel fortunate to have met you a few times in New York. Whoever you are, I don't know who you are, please come over and tell me about this. You're the one that wrote the letter made you cry. You always say that learning the daf changes people's lives and your family will look at you differently. Well, aside from a few nice comments from my wife and kids here and there, I never really thought that they noticed or that it made a difference to them. Also, people always ask me, and no one can understand why I need to stay up so late every night and not just listen to the recordings. But today, I feel vindicated on both counts. When I opened my lunch, I found a note that my daughter had put in the bag. When you read it, I cried. Whatever nachas, he says about himself, whatever nachas I feel and anything that I accomplished with the daf is attributed to you. Your style of teaching, tremendous amount of effort you put into the preparing and giving the shir, dedicated crew, you assemble, and the constant chizuk that you give us are all behind the reason why my family is proud of me and why I'm proud to be your Talmud. All the best, and Ani Mouse, anonymous, Bekitzer. And here is the letter. Dear Tati, I love you so much. I'm so inspired that you stay up crazy late every night to learn the daf. You're holding up the world and you're saving soldiers. Woohoo! Enjoy your lunch. Love, Rivka. Beautiful. Now, I don't know how old she is, but apparently it made the person cry. It's beautiful. The boy says a little bit of litzonis. This is a beautiful thing. Here we go.
Have you always wanted to make a siyam hashas, but just don't really have the time or patience to do Daf Yomi? Have you tried Daf Yomi and just find yourself spacing out for hours and hours on end, day after day? Are you sick and tired of seeing all your friends making siyam after siyam, standing up there all proud?
No, it's not a video.
As their wives and loved ones watch on? We get it. It can feel lonely. Not everybody's cut out for this. But everybody deserves to be included. Introducing the 3-second daf by Rav Noam Gulper. Last year, I had planned on finishing a masechta in time for the Berכה bash, and my wife had prepared a whole party, and she was furious at me because turns out I was months and months behind. Until I heard of Rabbi Noam Gulper's shir, and I joined it. And little did I know, I was able to finish Shas twice before the Berכה bash, and my wife was able to coincide both parties. Rabbi Noam Gulper really saved me. Here are a couple of samples of Rabbi Noam Gulper's shirim. Daf Mem Vav, starting from the Mishnah. Daf Samach Beis, 4 lines from the top by Tashima. Tashima. Daf Ayin Ches, 4 lines from where the lines get wide. Amar Rav Eli. Thank you, Rabbi Noam Gulper.
Yeah. Boys, if you, there are other shiurim out there. I'm not going to go into any names, but if you guys, the 3 people already that left the shir when I was in America, and they went to the shir, they're enjoying it tremendously. One of them actually was here for Shachris. He's the Gabbai in the early minyan. He said, I had a change. I said, okay, I'll give you $10,000 right now if you could answer 3 questions on yesterday's daf. He didn't even want to take the test. That's what he does, this year. Okay, anyway, not this one, a different one. Rabbi Yisai, we have a beautiful daf here. We're holding daf pei beis. I cried for the wrong reason. We have to, we have to do sponsors, Taka. And we have to learn, Rabbi Yisai, especially today. Today's a tough day. I don't know exactly the whole news, but it's not good news. And we have to learn Mamish Givaldik here. The Koilel of the month, anonymous from Lakewood, Rafua Tinoik Ben Malka. The Masechta for the unity of Am Yisrael. Parnas HaChodesh, the last day. Yedidya Pereira, lezchut, zivug hogem b'koroiv. Rachel behas Michal, Chaim David ben Sholamis, Shoshana Bracha bas Sholamis. They should find zivug hogem b'koroiv, and we should hear good news. Please let us know. Parnas HaChodesh, Rav Noam, Avi, Gary, and Yosef for the relentless commitment to MDY. Parnas HaChodesh, Li Nishma Zechrya ben Moshe, Li Nishma Zechrya bas Yosef. Parnas HaChodesh, Ahron Fraiman, it should be a zechus to rebel for continuous siyadta dishmaya and teaching Torah to Klal Yisroel. Amen. Parnas HaChodesh. You could say this mamish b'kavana g'doyla ma'oy today. Lili nishmas kol chayili tzahal shenaflu al kiddush Hashem. Parnas HaChodesh, in memory of Binyomin Airley from Anonymous in Manchester, who joined the shir at the beginning of siyadta. His neshama should have an aliyah. Parnas HaChodesh, Shprintzy and Avrumie Gross, Lili nishmas. The yardzites of our fathers, Shlomo Zalman ben Yitzchak Isaac zechus lebracha, and Binyomin Isaac ben Tzvi Hirsch HaKohen zechus lebracha. Parnas HaYom Marvin Diamond, yardzite of Abe Diamond, Avram Tzvi ben Reb Pesach Hillel, 13th of Shvat. Parnas HaYom Lili Nishmat Leah Bat Rachel and Refuah Shleima Chaim Avram ben Shifra Zisel Refuah Shleima. Parnas HaYom Yitzi Radzik and the Radzik family Lili Nishmas Mordechai Chanoich ben Yisrael Yitzchak Halevi zechus lebracha on his 4th yardzite. The art of the month is anonymous for the zechus, for an easy childbirth for his daughter and a healthy baby. Rabbi Bois, I just want to remind the Olam that tomorrow is the final day of this art scroll. You'd probably have to bring the 3rd volume because half is on the end of the 2nd volume and the other Amud is the new volume. We are holding literally on Pei Beis Amud Aleph the first word. V'ha kiyasa ravin omer b'yochanan. So we're discussing the 10 Tanoim that Yeshua, when he gave over Eretz Yisrael to Klal Yisroel, he made a deal with them on condition they accept these 10 ideas that you could share. Be nice to your fellow, let him take off a branch, let him graze in your forest, etc. So the Gemara asks, we saw that there's more than 10. Yesterday we brought a couple more. We said those were different Tanoim that said it. We were talking about the main Shita, that's 10, but in fact you found 11, 12. V'ha, ki also Rabbi Abba Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan is an Amoira. Echad ilon anoytel toich zdei chaveroi. Whether you have a tree that's its branches go into your friend's yard, v'echad ilon has samach lameitzer. And whether you have a tree that's in your rishos, but the roots might be going into your neighbor's domain. In other words, it's within 16 amma, 32 feet away from the wall. So it can nourish from your neighbor's karka. Maybe v'koira. So we're talking about bikurim. It says in the pasuk, Reishis bikurei ad mascha. We're talking about bikurim. That's in Shmois. Now, in Dvarim, it says, "V'lakachta mereshis kol priya adama asher tovi mi'artzucha." It has to be your land, obviously. You can't just take bikurim off your friend's tree. This tree that you see, that's in your rishos, but it nourishes from your friend, perhaps it's not your tree. Maybe v'koirei. So we have a nice illustration here of people who bringing bikurim to Yerushalayim, the shivas haminim. You're permitted to bring those shivas haminim, even though it nourishes from your friend. Why? And you say the psukim shal menas kein hinchil Yeshua Yisrael saaretz. Here, it's another tonight. Yeshua said, even though as long as the tree is in your property, it's yours, even though it nourishes from your friend. So you have an 11th one. How can you say there's only 10? Elo mantano asar tanoim shehisnu Yeshua. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi who? It's an Amoira by the name of Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. There's a street here in Ramat Bet Shemesh or Bet Shemesh called Rival. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. He's an Amoira. He's the one that said that there's 10. Other Amoraim, like Rabbi Yochanan, argue. Say here, there's 11. There's something else. In fact, the whole sugya starts with Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi's name. If anybody recognizes this name, Rabbi Biryos gets 10,000 points. Where do we see this name, Rabbi Biryos? Only one other time in the entire Shas. No one. 10,000 points. Huh?
What's the point, Dave?
What's the point? What? And if you knew what it was, it gets you 10,000 MDY points. It's worth 0. We had him yesterday. The only other time, I'll remind you, he's the one that said that kibetza, gazayis kibetza. When the tree is a zayis, it's a beitza. It's within this sugya of Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, but he himself says, I'm Rabbi Mishum Zokin Echad Umanu Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. He said and yesterday also, he said Mishum Zokin Echad. He just doesn't say the name. Umani Yeshua ben Levi, Asara Tanoim, Hisna Yeshua. Yeshua ben Levi said there's 10. Rabbi Yochanan says there's 11. There's something else.
So it's a machlokes somewhere around in such a case whether you would bring the Kurah? Whether Yeshua was master.
Right. It's a question. I think it's more of a question. It's if it's Yeshua that instituted or something that came later, maybe. I don't think it's a machlokes if that's the halacha. We see even here. Okay, let's continue. We'll see like there's certain things that was misakin or they were misakin, and it's part of something that already happened. I don't think there's an argument in the actual halacha. Asar Takon is taken Ezra. Ezra, Yeshua was the first one that brought Klal Yisroel to Eretz Yisrael. Ezra was the second one. When they came back from Galus, from Bava, Ezra. So just like Yeshua was Masakin 10, Ezra was also Masakin 10. Shekoirim b'mincha b'Shabbos, that we lay on Shabbos afternoon by Mincha from the Torah. V'koirim b'Sheni u'b'Chamishi, and we read the Torah on Monday and Thursday. So we'll see that's not really him that was Masakin. This is an old takana, but he revised it to what we do today, that we read the amount of psukim that we read today. V'danim b'Sheni b'Chamishi, and there's bezdin on Mondays and Thursdays. U'mechapsim b'Chamishi, and all these Rabbi said, like we had yesterday, we're going to go into each and every one. That's today's sugya. And you wash your clothes b'Chamishi b'Shabbos on Thursday. L'kavod Shabbos Kodesh. There's a nidain in Achronim is, do you wash your clothes on Thursday dafka and not on Friday, or you can wash also on Fridays? The point for the kavod of Shabbos is the point not to do malach on Erev Shabbos. What about today when we have washing machines? It's a push of a button. Some are makel, some say you shouldn't. Okay. You don't lose out, I guess, if you wash it on Thursday. Va'ichlin shum be'erev Shabbos, as the Gemara is going to explain, you eat garlic. Over here it says Erev Shabbos. In the Yerushalmi, I saw it's brought down on Leil Shabbos. In fact, the Mishnah Berurah says both. Erev Shabbos and Leil Shabbos. Ushtei isha mashkemes vayfa. A woman who's baking bread, she should get up extra early to bake the bread so that if a poor person knocks on her door, she doesn't have to send them away, that she come back again, the bread should be ready. We're talking about tremendous poverty. People literally didn't have what to eat, they were hungry. So you don't send them away, you give them something to eat. When was the last time anybody in this room gave somebody something to eat by the door? I don't know that it exists anymore. Like, people have more pride, maybe they're not that hungry. They want money. They want cash. That's what they want. Water, yeah, because, you're walking a lot, so water, yeah. But like a piece of bread, like to sit down and eat. When I was a kid, I remember my parents, people would come in and eat. I haven't seen it in many, many years. Okay, I'm sure there is, but not, Baruch Hashem, not so frequent. Ushtehei isha chegeres b'sinar. That a woman should wear undergarments, like another layer of clothing, and the Gemara is going to say for tznius. Before a woman is toivel, she should comb her hair, says Rashi. According to Tosfos, it means wash. But we're going with Rashi, you comb the hair for chatzitza, to take out knots. The people that sell goods from door to door, you shouldn't be able to stop them. They should be able to sell these perfumes so that women, shalitis gan al bala, that a woman should have the proper perfume, that she shouldn't look bad to her husband. V'tikin tefila lebali kroim. And he was masakin that, and we're going to see all this. I'm just repeating it so that we see it a second time today. In that he was masakin the idea that if a person is about carry, he shouldn't learn Torah until he goes to the mikvah. And today we don't really paskin like that. I personally, when I grew up in Kensington, we had a mikvah in our house. My father's very makbid on mikvah. He's a gronik. People think it's only a Hasidic thing, but the real Litvaks also go every day, even on Shabbos. And I bought a mikveh here in my apartment here, but we took it out. We had to do shtikur. We'll be back soon, Be'ezer Hashem. It's not a big deal to have a mikveh today for $8,000 or something. Like, the prices used to be $50,000, $60,000. You get just a piece of metal attached to the ground, and you have a mikveh. Shukorim b'mincha b'Shabbos. Why? Now the Gemara is going to go in one by one. Why do we read from the Torah on Shabbos? It says the Gemara, Mishum Yoshvei Kronos. Because, so we think that Yoshvei Kronos means the people that sit on the corner. Rashi says it means the people, the store owners, that are too busy to learn. They're very busy with their melacha, with their parnasa. So at least on Shabbos, at least on Friday afternoon, what about Shabbos morning? I'm not exactly sure. Okay, learn a little bit more Torah. The Shita Mekubetzes actually learns, like we see, I don't know how it goes in other countries, but in the United States, you have, in really bad neighborhoods, you could see it if you drive through, people just sit on the corner, stand around, many, just, and that Shita Mekubetzes says, that's a Yosef Karanis. That's a person, he calls him a shikr, a guy that's drunk, stands on the corner. I guess it's already thousands of years that they've been doing it. On the corner, on the stoop, on the corner. So for these people, we had Jews like that would sit around and do nothing. Lay the gayers on the corner. At least they learned a little Torah on Shabbos. We lay on Mondays and Thursdays. Now these people cannot lay, according to Rashi, they weren't available to go to shul in the morning. They were busy. So this didn't work for them. Ezra Tiken. Ezra Tiken, asked the Gemara, it's the Takana from Ezra, this is before Ezra. Predated him. Today, this week's parasha, Rabbi Yisai. They went in the midbar 3 days and they couldn't find water. Says the Gemara, you don't read it as simple as that. Maybe it is, there's a shoot of the mikra, but there's more than that. Those who darshan the Torah, a mayim el Torah. Mayim always refers to Torah. Shenemar hoy kol tzamei. If you're thirsty, l'chula mayim. You should go to water. Kivin shal chushleshis yom b'lei Torah. When you go 3 days without Torah, nilu, they became tired. You say like by Yosef at Tzaddik, v'aborek ein boy mayim. There's no water. So the Rashi says, mayim ein boy nechoshev akrovim yesh boy. It goes together. When there's no Torah, they automatically have bad stuff. Torah is the antidote to the bad. If you don't have Torah, then immediately you have nechoshev akrovim. The Yitzhahara steps in. Omdu nevim shebeneim v'tiknu lahem shiu korim b'Shabbos. Nevim come and they misakin that you read the Torah on Shabbos. Umafsikim be'echad. So they give 1 day off on Bechad b'Shabbos. No. Umafsikim be'echad b'Shabbos v'korim b'Shen. You're right. And they stop. They don't read the Torah on Sunday, and they read the Torah on Monday. So they get 1 day off. Umafsikin shlishi v'revi v'korim b'chamishi. And then they take a break Tuesday and Wednesday. Like today is Tuesday. There's a break. There's no Torah. V'korim b'chamishi. That what? That you shouldn't go 3 days without Torah. Umafsikin erev Shabbos. You don't read the Torah on Friday. So Tosfos asks, so why do you stop on Sunday? You read the Torah on Shabbos and you jump to Monday. Maybe go Tuesday, Wednesday. Maybe it should be 2 days in a row. Take 2 day break and read the Torah Tuesday, Wednesday. Don't read the Torah on Thursday, Friday. It'll be nice and spaced out perfectly. Shabbos, Sunday, Monday, not. Tuesday, Wednesday, yes. Thursday, Friday, not. Shabbos, yes. Every other day. Okay, that's basically. So he says, Tosfos says that there's something special, and it's good to know this, Tosfos, something special about Monday and Thursday. It's a day of Ratzon, says Tosfos. That's the day, Thursday's the day Moshe Rabbeinu went up to Shemayim, Monday's the day he came down. So Klal Yisroel have a connection to Mondays and Thursdays, and being that we have that connection, and it's a special day, and it helps us that we don't go 3 days without Torah. A lot of people that don't do the daf, unfortunately, a lot of the balabatim, they could go on a 3 day business trip and they don't learn Torah for 3 days. It's a thing. It happens every day to, unfortunately, hundreds and hundreds of people. That's why we have to save Klal Yisroel. We have to introduce them to Daf Yomi and convince them to come. Because you cannot go 3 days without Torah. Imagine, you're in Peru somewhere. You're in Panama. I don't know. No, Panama's not good. They have a lot of shul. I don't know. You go on a business trip to South Africa. There's no shul. There's no laning. You don't have your Gemara with you. You're busy business the whole time, one meeting to the other, you come back to the hotel, you're exhausted, you go to sleep. You could go 3 days without learning Torah. It's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing to go without 1 day Torah, obviously, but 3 days called Shin. Mikara, says the Gemara, okay, so we already have this idea that you lay in on Monday and Thursday. It wasn't Ezra, so why does the Gemara say that was Ezra? Says the Gemara, Mikara takinu. In the beginning, before Ezra came along, it was one person got up in shul. It was nice and quick. One aliyah, Yamoid, can you imagine the fights in shul? I only got aliyah 16 years ago. Whatever it is. One guy got an aliyah, 3 psukim, shalom Yisrael. Inami tlasa gavra tlasa psuke. Or maybe even 3 people, each one had 1 pasuk. Keneged, kohanim, levim, Yisraelim. So who comes Ezra? Tikkun tlasa gavra v'asar psuke. He instituted 10 psukim. When do we lane 9 psukim, Rabbi? Say once a year we lane. Purim. Just once a year on Purim, correct. The Olam knows. Keneged, and so why do we lane 10 psukim? Keneged asar batlanim. Once again, you would think asar batlanim are 10 batlanim, literally in Yiddish, ledegeiers, like bums. No, it's the opposite. These are people that don't work because they're learning Torah the whole day. The community hires these people that they're always in the Beis Medrash and there's always a binyan. When you come in for Shachris, there's always 10 people there. Mincha, there's always 10 people, they're learning, and they get paid by the community to learn. Rav Shteiman says, so what did Ezra gain? He gained 1 pasuk. It was 9, and he made it 10. What's the big deal? He says, no, to show that more than a Yisrael, more than a Levi, more important than a Kohen is the Talmud Chacham that learns. That's the 10, huh? No, it says even according to one sheet, there's 333. No? Inami tlasa gavra tlasa psuke. Inami tlasa gavra, 3 people, tlasa psuke. Each one was 3.
The same pasuk 3 times. Now you said 1 pasuk each.
Yeah, no, that's the line before that. Mikar takinu chad gavra tlasa psuke. 1 person, 3 psukim. Inami tlasa gavra tlasa psuke. It's 9. I believe it's 9. What does it say? It's 9. It says by you 9? Yeah. Vidanim. What? Each person, 1 person, 3, and then he did one person 3.3. It became 10. That's how I understand it. It used to be 9, now it's 10. Vidanim b'sheni, you say it's only 3 people, the same 3 psukim, over and over and over. Okay, so it's still 9. Either way you want to say it, it's still 9.
It's like the story you said
Yeah.
with Saratsky. The guy gave him another $1. Remember that story you told me?
The guy in Koilon, yeah.
He gave him another $1.
Right.
Because he made more money.
Yeah.
From that he made $100,000.
Right. Yeah. Saratskin. He got from what was it, an Avrich, came to him and said, could I change my monthly thing? Sure. What do you want to change it to? He goes, instead of giving $10, I want to give it 11. He's like, so instead of like making fun, he's very impressed, and he told the Gvir, he said, you know, this the Koil guy, it doesn't earn. So because of that, the Koil guy gave him $100,000. He ripped up a check.
He ripped up a $5,000 check. $5,000 check. $10,000 check. Then gave another $90,000
afterwards. That's what, yeah.
$1.
Because the $1. But then he said some other, I don't know if he told me. He says that most of his money comes not from the Gvirim in America, but from the Koil guys in Eretz Yisrael. The guys that give the $1 a week, the $1 adds up, Rabbi say, monthly giving. Adds up. We said. And it's Bezin on Mondays and Thursdays. They're coming anyways to shul to hear laning, so they'll be there for the Batidin. You should wash your clothes on Thursday for Shabbos. Why? Shabbos, to give extra special honor to Shabbos. What's the point of eating garlic on Erev Shabbos? Mishum oina. There's a chiyuv deraisa, especially for Talmidei Chachamim, to be with their wives once a week. Erev Shabbos, Erev Shabbos. And this helps. And as we know, the Vilna Gaon says that this doesn't apply only to married men. This halacha applies to Bacharim, also people who are not married. Just because the Gemara says Mishum oina, that's one of the reasons, of the many reasons why we eat garlic on Friday or Friday night. But everybody should be makbid on it. Omer Rav Yehuda v'Temer Rav Nachman v'Temer Rav Kahana v'Temer Rav Yochanan. This pasuk, asher piri yitim be'itoy on its time, zem shamish mitasim erev Shabbos le'erev Shabbos. Torah baron chamisha dvarim nemru b'shum. There's 5 good attributes with garlic. Mazbia, it fills you. Umashchin, and it warms up the body. Umatzel panim, it brightens the face. Umar be'azera, and it is mar be'azera. There's a person who went to a doctor, says he's not feeling well, and the doctor talks to him, and he finds out that the guy drinks 3 liters of Coke a day. Drinks. She's like, what are you doing? It's terrible for your body. He says, no, I'm addicted to it. That's that. And it happens to be, I know one of my managers in a property, they drink literally 3 liters a day. Like it's shagas, like more and more, like bottles lined up. Okay, so the doctor says, I want to show you something. He takes 2 cups, one of water, one of Coke. He puts a worm into the water. He says, you see, it's swimming around. He says, look, I'm going to take the worm, puts it into the Coke, and the worm dies on the spot. He says, no, what do you see from this? So the guy says, I see that if you drink Coke, you won't have any worms in your stomach. So says the Gemara, this shum, even lice hate garlic so much that they will die in the stomach. You won't have any lice in your stomach, whatever it means. What are they called in English? The animals that parasites. You won't have any parasites in the intestines. Some people say that garlic will bring a lot of love and it'll take out any sort of kina. I mean, if you think about it, you won't be makan anybody that eats garlic, that's for sure. How's it machnes hava? I don't know exactly. Who's going to love you if you eat a lot of garlic? Reb Noach,
He says because it makes you happy.
Yeah, it makes you happy. It's Misamech Hazlev. Yeah. Reb Noach Weinberg, whose yahrzeit was this past Sunday, he always used to ask people, the first comers, like newcomers, Rabbi Shusli used to grab those people out of the kaisel and bring them. So he'd ask them, what do you prefer? Somebody that loves you or you love someone? What's better? And a lot of people would say that they like to be loved. They want to feel, he said, no. To be loved, then you're just an object. Somebody else loves you. So you're an object. To love someone, you have that feeling of love. It's you. You feel good. It's You're in a state of love. It's a lot. So this is machnes ahava. It brings love. Says the Gemara, b'shtei isha mashkemes v'oifa kedei tehei pas mitzuy la'anim. Reb Shimshon Pinkus's father said that the first time he's ever seen a heavy, poor person is when he came to America. He says in Europe, the poor people were so skinny, they were starving, starving. In America, till this very day, the poor are actually, a lot of poor people are very heavy. They eat a lot of McDonald's, they eat a lot of garbage, junk food, because it's cheap and whatever. But to see a heavy, poor person, he's never seen such a thing. That was in Europe, in the Haim. The people were so poor that they would knock on a door in the morning. I'm starving. You have something to eat. You have a piece of bread. You have something to bread. You better wake up early in the morning. She has to get up earlier than usual to bake that bread so that the poor person should have a piece of bread. It's an added layer of tznius. So the Chaim Shmulevitz says an amazing thing here. The first time I saw it, I thought it was silly. It didn't make so much sense. And then I thought about it for another few seconds, and I realized that there's something chashuv here. He says that when a person wears another layer, undergarment, another layer, he says that could save a person from a chet. Why? Because the extra 5 seconds that it takes to remove. I'm like, okay, 5 seconds. No. That extra, whatever it is, that extra step, that extra filter, that extra, you have to just go to another place to turn on the device, or whatever it is, that extra 5 sometimes could save a person from chet. It's a big yesod. A woman should use a comb and then be toivel. Ask the Gemara there, it's not Ezra. The Sanya of Barachas is b'sar b'mayim. A person should go to the mikvah in the tameh. There shouldn't be anything that causes the chatzitza. How do you say it in English? Interpose. Fancy word. In Panovich, it's chatzitza es b'sarai. It says in the pasuk es b'sarai, es hatofel b'sarai. What's added to the basar umayniu seyar, that even in one's hair there shouldn't be anything there. There shouldn't be any gum, any knots. So obviously you have to use a comb. Says the Gemara, no. Amri d'oraisa, midoraisa, all you need to do is la'ayuna, is just to look at the hair. Dilmo miktar, maybe there's a knot in there. Okay, maybe someone got stuck in there. Mishum chatzitza. Beis Amud Beis. Comes Ezra and says, no, it's not enough just to look. So he didn't really add these takanas. Even Monday and Thursday didn't add. He added a little bit. He fine-tuned it. Said, okay, you have to use a comb. V'shiu roichlin mechazrim bayoros. Sponsored by Greg Haber for the success and safe return of our hostages and chayalim, Rabbeinu Shalom. We should hear today Psuras Toivas. All those Psuras Rois that a few people sent me should be turned into Psuras Toivas. And for the zechus, for Klal Yisroel. V'shiu roichlin mechazrim bayoros. That the people should go from door to door. Says the Gemara, Mishum tachshitei noshim, because of the perfume for women, kidei shelo yizganu al baleim. So anybody that was ever in France, had the big zechus of going to France, knows exactly what this Gemara is talking about over there. They have a minig toiv, special minig of not taking shower for 6 to 7 months straight, and they take some perfume and they mask the terrible odor. And you walk in the street and you don't know what you're smelling. It's like a mixture of terrible body odor with perfume. It's a minig. They have such a minig. It seems like Rabbi Leader came over to me after Shir last night and he said that his father, his own parents, didn't have a bathtub in their house. In England, they didn't have a bathtub. They had to go to the public bathhouse. So you can imagine it's not something you do every day. Or maybe not every week. I mean, it's a pain to go. You have to go, pay, and go, and down the block, in the cold, whatever, middle of the winter. So you're talking about people that Shli's Gano Baleim is a problem. You don't want the woman to be a disgust to the husband, so let her buy this perfume. Chazon Ish says, famous Chazon Ish, that your friend comes to you and says, you know, I have a big problem, you have to help me out. You have to make a macha, you have to stand in front of this guy's store. This guy went into competition with me. He's masik vul, he's over the raisa. You have to do something about it. And your first instinct is, I need to help my friend Nebuch. He has a store, and the friend is ruining his parnasa. So Chazon Ish says, first you have to know the halacha. Before you get emotional, know what the halacha says. In this case, somebody comes over and says, oh, there's a guy that comes by every day with his truck, with his this. He's ruining my parnasa. He's going from door to door. I have a store, I have a brick and mortar. What a chutzpah. He's coming. Know the halacha. The halacha is he's permitted, and there's a reason this guy about. So if you know the halacha, then you can get emotional. Don't do something, don't get emotional and be against the halacha and be in the wrong side of the halacha. And something very interesting, without mentioning a name, it's a huge Talmud Chacham, a Rav in the neighborhood, said that perhaps, he didn't say as halacha, he said perhaps there is no masik gvul anymore in stores. Why? Because there's internet. You can buy everything online. I don't agree to him 100%. It could be he's right, it could be he's wrong. To me, it just, and he's 1,000 times bigger Talmud Chacham than I am. Just to me, it seemed like a store has its place. People want to purchase something and they want it right now. They want to see it. They want to feel it. Online is another thing. So just because there's online doesn't mean you could put another store next door to the other guy and say there's no Asak's Gvul because it's online. Huh? Depends where, depends how. So what is Asak's Gvul? Okay. In that halacha, he says that even that halacha doesn't exist because of online.
A person lives in the neighborhood, he's allowed to open a competing business with you near you. If a person lives outside the neighborhood,
that's one that's
come and pay someone to open next to you. That's considered a problem.
And he's saying there's no asok, even that there's no asok Gvul. What? We'll get to him about Basra. You already have the thing ready?
What he's saying is it's very nice, but there's a lot of things that you can't get online. That's a business that's not Nagia. It's a Jewish business. Let's say so that.
Okay, yeah, but he wasn't talking about that. He's talking about in a business that is online. Yeah. A Balkari should go to the mikvah. Says the Gemara Deraisa, who isn't that a passage in the Torah? The Chsiv ish ki tzeisim imeno shikva zera. V'rocha tzeisim should go to the mikvah. Says the Gemara Deraisa, who let truma v'kachim. The only thing that the Deraisa is you should need truma and kachim. Also, taken afilu l'divrei Torah, and he was misaken that you shouldn't learn Torah before going to the mikvah. But today we don't have that halacha. L'chayra asar dvarim never b'Yerushalayim. Now, once we're talking about 10 things that Ezra was sacking, 10 things Yeshua was sacking, there's 10 things in Yerushalayim. Ein habayis cholad ba. The halacha is when you purchase a house in a walled city, you have a year to redeem the house, and if you don't redeem it in a year, it never comes back to you. Even on Yovel, it doesn't go back. in Yerushalayim, the house that you sell is not a sale. In other words, you could go and redeem it, you could take it back anytime you want. Not only that, if you don't redeem it, it comes back to you by yovel. You don't bring, I have a picture of Shum, I forgot to show. Okay. There's a guy eating, it's just hard to see. This is Egla Rufa. If a dead person was found between two cities, you measure, you can see they're measuring over there. So Yerushalayim doesn't have this halacha. There's no Egla Rufa. Iridachas is a city that the majority of people worship Avodah Zarah. So the halacha is you kill them all with a sword and you burn the entire city. There's nothing left of the city. We can see the psukim here. This is part of Egla Rufa. You go to Nachaleson, you shech the animal over there. These are the psukim, very interesting psukim. You hear in one of your cities. Let's do Avodah Zarah. So it says in Pasuk Tezayin, Hakasakas Yeshveir, you should kill them all with a sword. It's a different misa, sword. And then Hakar Bois is Kol Shabbat Behemta Leficharev, and then it says in the Pasuk afterwards, Ves Kol Shalal Tikvais, you take everything, you burn it all. Ves Kol Shalal Bois Tel Olam, you literally, like in Gaza, you graze the whole place with the D9, nothing left, you can never rebuild it forever. So Nochamazel, it's good. That can't happen in Yerushalayim. Because imagine Chas Shalom, it happened in one of the cities, in one of the places in Yerushalayim. You have to destroy the whole place. You can never build there again. It's just a mound of dirt. And there's something like tzaras, a nega on the house. A beautiful thing, I don't know if everybody knows this, maybe some of you know, that when Klal Yisroel left Mitzrayim, the Canaanim in Eretz Yisrael heard about how strong they are and what they did to the Mitzrayim, what they did to Amalek. They were very scared, so they said, they're going to come, they know that they're coming to Eretz Yisrael, and they're going to destroy us. We don't want them to benefit from anything that we have. And they went and they destroyed their own houses, they destroyed their own wells, they burnt everything, knocked down all the trees, desolate. What happened? What happened was the Klal Yisroel stayed around in the Midbar for 40 years. So like, oops! Like a wrong move in the video game is like, what did we just do? So they had to rebuild everything and get the wells going, get the trees and everything. And then when Klal Yisroel finally made it there, they got new stuff. But one thing they did, they hid all their gold and silver in the walls. That Olam knows. So here's another beautiful example of what HaKadosh Baruch Hu does. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives you a little bit of a zetz. You have a neg on the house, you have to call the kohen. The kohen says you have to remove that stone. So what, again, it's mamish a mashal to life. You think it's bad, but it's really good. You think, I have to take out the stone from my wall, and I have to do renovation. Yeah, you take out the stone, and all of a sudden you find $1 million worth of gold behind that stone that you would have never found otherwise. Yerushalayim, you don't have that. There's no nega on the walls of Yerushalayim. You don't put any porches, I'm going to explain, or beams into the street. And you don't do any kind of garbage there. And you don't have smokestacks. You don't have any beautiful gardens. Besides the rose garden, Rashi says that's what we say in Torah. Keep us hayardin kolshu. Let's keep us hayardin. The roses. And you don't bring up chickens. And you don't let the dead stay overnight. Very makrid with that Adi Mazeh in Yerushalayim. You don't have a permanent sale of a house. To him, he has a chayma. So if it's in a place that has a wall, you have to be paid that. And if you don't redeem it right away in the first year, then it says, even though it's a walled city, it was never given to Klal Yisroel, to a particular shevet. It was given to the entire Klal Yisroel. So therefore, you don't have the right. The Kilis Yaakov I saw asked, so how do you even sell it? And then there's no sale at all. We said once that you can't even charge a guest for rent when they come for Ma'aseh Sheni or whatever it is. When they come for Alila Regel, you can't charge them for rent. Why? It's not yours. So if it's not yours, so then what's the chiddush here? Of course, you never even sold it. Forget that it comes back to you. It was never even a sale. And if you find a dead person between two cities, you don't bring a calf and chop off its head. It's yours. It wasn't ever given to you. And if they do have a desire, 51% of the people, your city, it's not your city. And there's no negaim in the walls. Your achuzah, Yerushalayim l'nitzchak l'shvatim. Ve'imoitziim bo zizim v'gezus terois mipnei oil atuma. Rabbi say, here goes. Let me show you oil atuma. It's a very interesting halacha. You see this. I wasn't sure if we should show it like that, but I think it doesn't. It's not as doesn't bring up those kind of emotions. I hope. A small bag of zakah. In other words, there's a small piece of tuma in that bag. So what happens is, but the tuma goes upwards. But since there's a porch, it gets stuck by the porch, and what happens? The entire area of the porch becomes one area of tuma. So anybody that goes anywhere, not next to the bag, just underneath the porch, becomes tamei, and here it goes like this. Everything becomes red. And if you walk through under the porch, you become tamei. Now here's another one. This is, I asked Yoshi, this is the backwards picture, l'mshana. This is one of my favorite pictures that I mentioned. So this gave me the inspiration for this thing here. Here's a guy learning Torah. I just noticed that he's wearing, yesterday, I just noticed he's wearing 2 pairs of tzitzis, not one. And he's very, very orangutan and learning Baruch Hashem. And you should not put out a beam in Yerushalayim. Okay. Oh yeah. You feel bad for the guy? I think we should see it again. Ooh, but Lamaisa, he continued to learn. He's down on the ground. He's learning. This guy's. The people shouldn't bang their heads in the beams. You shouldn't make it a garbage dump. Because this is the same picture that we had sponge coming out of. You see that? You see that thing? It's one of the things. The machlik on the water. We used this already once in the past. Not this picture, but this frame. And then I said about Reb David Pervarsky that a sponge hit him on his Shabbos clothes and he didn't look up. He just continued walking. Mishum shkatzim. Because of the tuma, there's rats. It brings different disgusting things, and that could make tuma. And you shouldn't use it as a kiln. You shouldn't have a smokestack. Mishum kudra, because of the smoke. It's not nice for your life to have smoke on the walls. You shouldn't have a nice garden. Mishum sircha, because gardens bring foul odors. Like when you cut the weeds, you cut different things. You have piles of leaves that create smell. Also, the fertilizer is smelly. Here's a beautiful picture, Rabbi Isai. You shouldn't have any kind of chickens because mishum kachim. They go and they peck and they take from here a piece of tum and they bring it over there. And you shouldn't leave the body of that person overnight. Why? Gemara. It's a Messiah. It's a Kabbalah that we have. So the Shittim Kubetzis asks, what do you mean it's a Gemara? It's a pasuk in the Torah that you shouldn't be malin as hameis. So he says, Yerushalayim is special, and you see that even today. That even if you have a really good excuse that this kid is coming from Chutz La'aretz, and if we push off the levaya for a few hours, they'll have a bigger levaya because of hameis. Even in that situation, they don't let the body stay overnight. Whereas in other places, that you could get away with the pasuk of not to be malin hameis. In Yerushalayim, you don't do it. That's what, and for that we don't know the exact reason. It's Kabbalah. There was a very wealthy person by the name of Reb Asher, and a guy came to collect money, rings his bell. He says, "Listen, I can't accept people right now." He says, "All I want to say is one word. One word." He says, "Okay, one word. You sure? Yeah, one word. Come in." Guy comes in. He says, "Gemara." He says, "What does it mean?" He says, "Good morning, Reb Asher." He says, "Shmak." He says, "Gemara." He says, "What does that mean?" He said, "Give money, Reb Asher." He says, it's a Kishrin. So he took out his checkbook and he wrote him a check. After he finished writing, he says, Gemara. He says, "What's that?" He says, "Give more, Reb Asher." And then he said, Gemara. He says, "What's that?" He said, "Good morning, Rabbi Isai." Says the Gemara, you shouldn't bring up any chazerim, pigs, pigs, davarachers, Torah Rabbanon. Says the Gemara, the famous story, Kishetzor beis Chashmonai zal zeh. Hoya hurkunus mibifnim vars teboilos Mibachutz, very, very sad story of two brothers, Hyrcanus and Aristiboilos, the sons of the king Yanai, and it was really supposed to be Hyrcanus, he was the Bechar. Aristiboilos decided that he should be the king. And that's how all the tzaras start, when there's no Achdus in Klal Yisroel. We see it b'zman hazeh, unfortunately, when there's no Achdus, comes war, comes destruction to Klal Yisroel. Every single day, Klal Yisroel needed to bring the carbon tamid. They ran out of animals. So they lowered a box full of money to the enemy outside, and they would put a sheep into the two sheep, one for the morning, one for the evening, so the Klal Yisroel had a carbon. There was an older person who knew how to speak in sign language in a special way that nobody could understand what he was saying. He's a Rasha. He told them, he decided to do something terrible. He told the enemy on the outside, as long as Klal Yisroel is bringing karbanis inside, you won't be able to get them. Maybe, perhaps, I don't know, but we today don't have karbanos, we have tefillah. As long as Klal Yisroel is bringing karbanos, you can't get them. Lamachar, so what did they do? Shilshulu dinarim bekupa. So the guys in the inside put money into the bucket. Vehelulem chazir. Rabbi, so we have a picture. I wasn't sure if we should do it, but I thought for the hamchasha to understand what happened here. Here it is. Here's the enemy, and here you see they brought up a chazir, and then this is what happened. Basically, the chazir put his paw into the wall. His nails went into the wall. The whole Eretz Yisrael shook. 400 parsa, 400 usually a guzma, but it shook. And therefore they established, cursed is the person that'll bring up a chazir. And curses a person who teaches his kid this chachma of the Yevanim, of the Greeks. Because he knew that language, he was able to do this shtick. And it happens to be that we learned we'll say, I just show this to you real quickly so we can do chazara. When you have a oimer is the second day of Pesach. You have to bring some fresh barley, very fresh, and you can see even in the outskirts, you see it's right next to Yerushalayim. You see the Beis Hamikdash in the background, and you put it into 3 boxes. We're just going to go through this real quickly. Mamish through the night, and you bring this as a carbon. You have to prepare it. You have to, knock it around a little bit, get the grain out. Then you sift it a bunch of times, and you put it here. You see, this is sifting. This is sifting. Then you take it, and then you burn it. You how do you say kli in English? Roast it. You roast it, and then you do tchina. It's all process. What you have to do, mamish, within you put the flour in, turn the thing, and then you add the levina, etc. Fine. So, and then what the point is that anything that grew before that point, it was red. It was also to eat, and once you bring the oimer, it becomes green, mutter to eat. Anything that grows after that point becomes also to eat, and that's what we call chadash. In other words, because the enemy was on the outside of Yerushalayim, so they destroyed all the barley, so they couldn't bring a carbon. They had to go to a very distant place to bring the carbon oimer. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day. Rabbi Sai, because of the terrible situation that happened last night and still ongoing right now, there's a lot of missing soldiers, supposedly, hopefully I'm wrong. Let's say stark tehillim b'kavona shir lamalo.